following is an overview of how we can use oil and gas permit data to help us enhance our instance of Salesforce, and from a market research and a lead generation perspective, helping the productivity of your salespeople. So the first thing that we look at is the accounts tab. Pretty standard tab. That's where we keep all of our accounts inside of Salesforce. And one of the features that gets underutilized is the list views. So our ability to segment our accounts or group our accounts into segments. So here I've built one called Producers USA, and then you can see here by some of the headers that I have in this particular list view, I have associated the number of well license, so since 2017, to the specific account. So from a salesman's perspective, there's always the scenario of, hey, I want to find the top list of oil and gas companies. So I can come right into my CRM system, and because I'm loading in the well permits, I'm able to easily build that list for my sales team. One other feature that when we look at list views is we can segment those list views. So I might have a campaign where we're doing very well in the strawberry play, and then I can say, give me the list of oil and gas accounts that have a field that contains the word strawberry. So here I now have, out of that full list that I have a list specifically with strawberry, and then I can kind of take a look at it and say, hey, how many well permits have strawberry in it versus the total amount of well permits that we have in the system. The other thing that I have here that becomes very interesting, and I don't call on oil and gas operators myself, but I can see things like days since last activity, how much revenue have I generated, how many quotes have I done, so on and so forth. So that's an example of what we can do with our list views. It's pretty much endless as far as the market segmentation is concerned. The other thing that I can do is I can come in here and I can select a specific account. And then once I look at an account record, one of the features that's newer in the Lightning is I can build these tabs here. So one thing that I like to do is I've got my LinkedIn Navigator team versions right inside of Salesforce, or right inside of Salesforce. So I can come in and I can see the different contacts related to this particular account as they're associated to LinkedIn. But I can also come over and I can select this oil and gas data tab. Here I'm mostly looking at information, wells drilled information, but the first thing I look for is well licenses. What's the trend? So this particular account here, I can see it, the last time they took out a well license was in Q1, and then we had 4 well licenses, and the last time that they drilled wells. So the last time we drilled wells was Q2. So we can get an indication that, hey, when they take out well licenses, they pretty much execute on all of them. And you've got a gap of a couple months between the well license and that. Here I can look at what we call the board center or the district, and then the districts that we're looking at are broken down by the Railroad Commission. So those are groupings of where these well license or permits are going to be. I could say, well, what is the substance? Here I can see what are the fields. So I can see ideally strawberry makes up all the wells that they've been drilled. Spud by city, so here we can see that a majority of them are in the Midland area, and then I can take a look at the different leases that they have in the different counties that they're operating in. So it's a wealth of information for me as I want to drill down on this particular account, to helping the sales rep prepare for their call. At any given time, I can come in here and say I want to view the report, and then when I view the report, it's going to come in and it's going to show me the different leases, and then I could come in and I can specifically look here on the license date, when was the last one, or I can come in and and then drill down right into the record specifically, or I could click in and say I'm interested in this particular lease, and then that would segment the lease record for me directly. Just as an add-on of one of the values of the tabs are our contacts. So here I don't have any contacts for this particular account, so that's blank. But here I have contacts related to this particular account that came from the well permit. So Jill Hamilton, and we can see that she's a regulatory technician. So worst case scenario, I can give them a call. The last component that we want to take a look at right now is the dashboards. And then if I come in and I look at Texas well licenses, because I'm loading in all the well permits on a weekly basis, I can see by those districts how they're broken down in kind of ascending or descending, largest to smallest. And then I can also see the total amount of well licenses by the different organizations. If I want to, I can just click in and go specifically to that account. And again, when I'm in that account, I can come in here. No, I've got the wrong record type here, so just give me a sec. Is that when I'm in this particular account, so save. So I happen to use a thing called record types to help segment the data. I just had to update this particular record type. So now I can come in and I can look at the oil and gas data. Again, well licenses by quarter. I like this. They're trending in the right direction. Well spud by quarter, excellent, good, healthy. It's been a little while, bit of a gap since they've been drilling, but based on this, we could probably start to see some activity again. The districts that they're in, gas wells, so this happens to be a gas play, and the different fields that they're operating in. So we got a Haynesville shale play, and then the fields as well as the leases that this particular company is going in, and the county. So lots of great information about this particular account. Again, I don't have any applicant contact information, but I can look at my CRMs or my permit data and see if there's a contact there that might help me with my sales process. So that's just an overall view of how we can leverage oil and gas data inside of your CRM.